Welcome back to a special Friday night pre-game edition of the Purple Rain podcast. I remember when that one clip in the intro of Rashad Bateman catching a touchdown was one of his only touchdowns with the Ravens. And now they're just an every week thing. Welcome back to episode 273 of the Purple Rain podcast. Apologies for not going live last night. Things came up. But thank you for joining us on this Friday night, odd night we do lives, but we're here. And this is the Marshall Yanda episode of the Purple Rain podcast, who just recently is in the cut to make the Hall of Fame next year, which I think it should be a first ballot. Played every position on the line at such a high level. Marshall Yanda, you are a true Raven, and you are true Purple Rain pioneers for coming out right now on this Friday night. So thank you all for coming through. You can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast. You can follow this guy right over here on X, on Instagram at Sutton Def. Follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod or on X at simplyas10. And most importantly, our lovely sponsor, Manscaped. Go in there, stack the card up. It is October 25th. 1 week from today is November, and that is peak holiday time. I was actually yesterday talking with some friends. I'm like, we should go freaking Christmas shopping, right? Like, get it done early because like it's right around the corner. So you want to go in there, get yourself something nice, get a gift for the special man in your life, or a shirt for the woman. Use code PRP. 20% off your whole order, free international shipping. Son, it is still a victory week, but it is Browns week as well. Another divisional game. Crucial to going 2-0 in divisional games. Build that lead up at the top of the AFC North, because right now we are first. Thank you very much. But how is your week gone? How are you feeling after Monday? Good vibes, right?
Great vibes. You know, it really feels like this offense is everything that we've ever wanted, and it's not even including that big name wide receiver that people have been calling for the past couple of years. Guys are stepping up, and that's where the vibes are coming from for me. Rashad Bateman is a guy. I'm just going to go ahead and bring him up right here, right now. Start the episode with my guy, Thea Pennell the fourth is in the chat. What's going on, bro? Says, told you about Rashad Bateman, right? Kind of being a little bit, sarcastic there. Because, my guy, Thea Pennell, I love him. I really do. But, he's always kind of he's been bringing down the vibes of my guy Rashad Bateman, and my guy Bateman had to kind of prove him wrong one time. So shout out to you, Thea Pennell, for kind of I don't want to say recanting, but I'm sure you're probably a believer now. Let us know if you're a believer in Bateman. I'm actually very interested in what you have to say about that. But yeah, man, I'm feeling good. Kind of just touching on the Bucks game from Monday night, man. One thing that I don't like about this team, and I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way. I don't like that the offense is essentially playing defense right now. Like, I don't like that at all. It scares me. It worries me for later in the season, especially in the playoffs when we're going toe to toe with some of these heavy hitters in the AFC. And I'm really talking about the Chiefs, because the Chiefs are 6-0 right now. And they have kind of made their bread and butter off of like just having these ugly games and finding a way to win. And if there's one thing we know the Chiefs know how to do against the Ravens, even when we're flying high, they can make things ugly, make it a phone booth type of game. And before you know it, we're in a dogfight fighting for our lives by the end of it, right? Same thing happened in week one, kind of. But I wrap all that up to say vibes are feeling good. Looking forward to this 1 p.m. CBS. It's not a home game. It's in Cleveland, but it feels like home. I'm gonna always say 1 p.m. on CBS feels like home because it does. I'm looking forward to it. But Alex, let's go ahead and get into what we came here to talk about tonight. That game, right? 1 p.m. CBS. Let's start it off with our I-word report. It is time for some ball talk, man. Alex, take us away.
It is time for some ball talk. I'm going to start us off with the Ravens here. Since it is Friday, we have the game status. There's no speculating if this guy's going to practice tomorrow. Rasheen Ali, he's out on Sunday. Jalen Armour-Davis, questionable. Zay Flowers, questionable, who did practice today, which is good for him to play on Sunday. Marlon Humphrey has not practiced at all this week. Doubtful. Don't expect him to go. Travis Jones limited the past 2 days, questionable. Keaton Mitchell out, who was limited all week, by the way. So we might see him very, very soon. TJ
Yes.
Tampa's out, and Nate Wiggins questionable. It was full Thursday, limited today. I think it might be the illness they mentioned here as his I word. But I mean, it's not the best having Humphrey out, but let's hope we don't need him. Brandon Stevens, this is a big spot for you. Going up against Jerry Jeudy. Hopefully shut him down, who's had his drop issues this year. And their receivers in the whole, losing Amari Cooper, they have a very, very, very weak receiving core, and they don't have the chemistry at all. They drop passes, they underrun routes, overrun routes. So I'm moving on to the Browns now. Their game status is Jerome Ford, running back, out. Ronnie Hickman, out. Jordan Hicks, out. Wyatt Teller, he's questionable. Jedrick Wills Jr. is out. It's looking like Conklin is going to be playing left tackle for them. I think his first game's coming back from being on the IR. So I really want to see this pass rush now step up as well. The one thing I will say about the defense is that I want to see more sacks when the game is close. Owe got his sack. Van Noy got his sack. We were up 20, 30 points that time. I want to see these sacks come in the first and second quarter and really set the tone. And I'm glad Ed Reed was on the Manning cast because he kind
Called
of
us out.
said this isn't a championship defense. Yeah, this isn't a championship defense because the Ravens from last year, 37-3 win over the Seahawks, blowing out teams and weren't letting them back in there, getting crucial interceptions in the third and fourth quarter so we can bring in Tyler Huntley, Josh Johnson, and our backups to just run the game out. I want to see more of that. And I don't want to see guys in on the fourth quarter playing when they don't have to. Because I thought there was a point where like, all right, cool, like we're up 41 to whatever. We're not going to bring the guys out. And they came out. So I do want to see a response from this defense. You're playing Jameis Winston. And I'm a little bit worried because what do the Browns have to play for right now? They're 1-6. Their $230 million quarterback is out for the season. They have just kind of admitted defeat by taking the play calling duties away from Kevin Stefanski, giving it to Ken Dorsey, the former Bills OC. They're a shit show right now. So to me, I've seen the Ravens lose too many of these games, especially divisional games. Records go out the door. I do think we win, spoiler alert, but I don't want it to don't make it a game because if you leave them in the game, they'll get some stupid ass magic and they'll somehow beat us. So play our game and you win comfortably.
Yeah. And we're going to kind of break it down a little bit more here as we get into our keys to victory. And we want you to go ahead and drop those down in the live chat. If you're watching live, if you're not watching this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast live, make sure you go ahead and drop your keys to victory down below in the comment section, and also an extra little shout out to the replay game. Let me see here. So yeah, drop your keys to victory down below in the chat. We got Lisa Ann in the house says, hey, Alex and Sutton Def, Marshall Yonda deserves a first ballot Hall of Fame vote. Absolutely one of the GOAT guards.
Yeah, we think so.
Yeah, shout out to you, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining the show. Shamil Malik is in the house as well. So this has got to be a cleanup game for the defense. Please. No, I agree with you. Like there's really just no reason like for a team like the Browns who have no juice right now, 5-game losing streak, just lost their quarterback. They're kind of shuffling around. It's a makeshift offensive line right now. We should clean up shop, right? Realistically in this game, right? We should clean up shop. I know we're on the road, but we're playing for everything. They're really not playing for much at all right now, right? So, that's going to be one of the keys to victory in itself. The panel here says O-line is definitely a key. I agree with him there.
Yeah.
I think that this O-line does need to continue to develop. Now, I will say that, the grade of this offensive line is definitely aided by Lamar Jackson's ability, but I don't want to discredit the O-line too much because, I was watching some YouTubers the other day, and it was a unique type of podcast that I was watching, right? It was like all former offensive linemen, right? Like NFL, like pro offensive linemen. They had like a podcast and they were showing kind of like the offensive line play from the Ravens Bucks games and just how good, right? A lot of these guys on the line were. Like Ronnie Stanley had some really big key blocks. Tyler Linderbaum is getting down the field, kind of just showing effort everywhere. And it's really nice to see that there's been such a huge improvement over what we saw in the first couple of weeks. So I definitely do agree that O-line is definitely going to be a key to victory. One of my keys to victory, though, Alex, is going to be, like you mentioned, this pass rush. This is a no excuses game for the pass rush, right? I'm looking at a Kyle Van Noy. I'm looking at a Dafe Elway. I'm looking at a David Ajabo, right? Tavius Robinson. Like, we have got to get home against, you got to beat up on the bad teams. This is a weak offensive line. You got to take advantage of it. But kind of looking at these numbers here, Alex, and what you've been thinking about all week, what's one big specific key to victory that you have for the Ravens to come home with a W?
I do want to say defense because right now my worry isn't the offense. And defensively, it is in the back end, and it feels like it's the left-hand side of the field that is getting beat. Like when that first touch on Mike Evans, Brandon Stevens and Marcus Williams, there was just a whole lot of space in between them. There was no communication, it feels like, and there's a lot of talent on this defense. There's a lot. And I go back and I look at the Ravens 2022 defense with Mike Macdonald. He didn't have as much talent, I thought. Justin Houston, aging, didn't have the best year that year. A rookie Kyle Hamilton. And Marcus Peters on one leg. It felt like, he's got a mature Brandon Stevens, a Marlon Humphrey playing at a high level, and an insanely talented first-round pick in Nate Wiggins, who we've seen, who he's just lacking just getting those picks now. Because that's right now, if he catches what is thrown to him, including that one Marlon stole, I think he has 4 picks right now. Dropped 2 against the Bills, 1 last week, and 1 this week. So
he's in position for sure.
I don't want to say I'm the hashtag Zach Ward firing. I'm not, but I do have a very close eye on him, and this is a great bounce back week. This is a great week where you can get a lot of confidence and show that league that you are an NFL defensive coordinator. So I'm looking at the defense right now. Like you said, pass rush, back end, and still it's the thing. Like if I'm a betting man, take the David Njoku over because tight ends absolutely feast on this offense. We got feasted on by, granted it was garbage time this past week by Otten. Week before we were letting 30-some yard, however, Zach Ertz eat us up over the middle. You have got to do a better job protecting the middle of the field. And David Njoku loves games against us. You've got to shut him down. So kind of one of my keys is shutting down David Njoku because he has great games against us no matter when we play him or where we play them. And you got to protect that middle of the field.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that a lot. RJ Horry here in the house says, key to victory, establish the run and then let our guys, Bateman, Flowers, Likely, and Andrews cook. O-line, I promise if you keep 8 clean, it is a guaranteed win. All truth there, all facts. Now, kind of talking about the pass catchers just for a second, it seems like Rashad Bateman is kind of ascending the totem pole of wide receivers on this roster, on this depth chart. So I think that he's not that he never really was, but he's definitely solidified wide receiver 2 right now behind Zay. Zay, getting shaken up with the ankle last week, or this week on Monday, I think that he will be I think they'll utilize him a little bit less, and they'll go more towards the Rashad Bateman plays. If you watch the Ravens Wired from yesterday that dropped, they went over that play in the film room, in the wide receiver room. And then Todd Monken called it. Lamar Jackson was walking to the offensive line and said, basically, Bate, this is for you. Lamar read it all the way. Bate was the first read. And what happened? Deep ball, over the shoulder touchdown. Alex, how often do we see a deep ball over the shoulder touchdown in this Ravens offense? It's really not that often when you think about it. It's really not. I think the last one we saw was, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the last one we saw was in the AFC Championship game. I could be wrong. I'm talking about like a deep ball, rainbow over the top. Did we see any others this regular season?
I think that's the only one. A lot of the big plays were happening on shorter passes, a lot of yak, or like we saw with Zay last week against the Commanders, a lot of yak, screen. I think that was the last one was AFC Championship. Oh, no. Right. I mean, the Bate against the Chiefs, that final drive, he kind of threw it up for him, but Bate had to kind of come back for it. But in stride,
Yeah.
I gotta
In
say that was the
stride,
last one with the AFC
over
Championship.
the shoulder. Exactly. The last one was the AFC Championship game. And I feel like that's a part of our offense that has not been unlocked, right? And now that we have unlocked, or we're seemingly unlocking that part of the offense, here's the thing. See, here's why the Ravens have been so successful this year. You know how we talk about all the time, the Ravens are zigging while the rest of the league is zagging, right? And they kind of have to react to us. And there were a couple of seasons under Lamar Jackson's tenure with us where teams had kind of caught up to us, right? But every year, and this is where I kind of credit Eric DeCosta, we've put pieces in place. Derrick Henry was the new software update, if you will, this year. And with this new update, all the developers around, meaning all the other teams, all the other opponents in the NFL, they're still trying to figure that part out, right? They can't figure out Derrick Henry. So imagine when you incorporate an X receiver, a Rashad Bateman, who can beat you over the top, he can beat you over the middle, and that's not even mentioning Zay Flowers and those tight ends. That is it literally is like Zenith Ravens offense, right? And if the defense could just be halfway competent, and I'm talking about the pass defense, you can look at the numbers right here, they're on the screen, right? Dead last in pass yards allowed, first in rush yards allowed, right? Like it's just night and day, literally night and day, the definition. If we can just cut that to halfway down, I think that this team would be absolutely unstoppable. It would be scary. It would be unfair. Um, but yeah, I don't mean to go on that long rant right there, but man, it really does seem like this offense is reaching its full potential.
I see nothing wrong with what you said because it was 100% factual. 25.7 points a game. I swore Ray said, give us 17 points and you'll win the game, meaning they'll give up less than 17 a game.
Yeah.
25.7. They're letting Rachaad White walk into the end zone. Nobody even close to him. First drive of the game, running backs out the backfield, miscommunication. First drive of the game. You've had all week to prepare. First drive of the game, already miscommunication. And it's just frustrating because the amount of investment we have and the amount of draft capital, money that we have, and we still just have these stupid lapses of judgment, and it gets beat. And I'm not discrediting Baker Mayfield because he's been playing out lights out. But when you get to the playoffs in the AFC and you play Mahomes, we did everything right against Mahomes last year, and he still threw that perfect pass to Travis Kelce. Now imagine you have these dumb mistakes. Game might not even be close. So you've got to you got to clean that up. I'm glad you brought up the unit strength here. ESPN PFF. Actually, speaking of PFF, on that Rashad Bateman touchdown being Zion McCollum, he was the number one graded cornerback by PFF last week.
Interesting.
Up until then, he was number one cornerback. Rashad Bateman routed him up, scored that touchdown. A little bit of
Beautiful
another
route.
victory lap for the Bateman Truthers. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
big time. So you see here the Ravens run block. I mean, all the way up there, and then the pass protection still up there as well, but a little bit of Lamar tax, I'd say. But that first drive, I want to get your reaction. What were you thinking when Lamar takes back-to-back sacks?
Well, I was surprised that the stat came up that he had never taken back-to-back sacks. I think it was like in the first quarter or something like that, or on the first drive, he had never taken back-to-back sacks before. And I was like, oh, really? That's interesting. But I didn't really think too much of it. Football games are long. You got to get settled in, and the trust that I have for Lamar Jackson at this point is just it's unwavering. There's certain plays that he made in that game. One of the ones that comes to mind where he drops back and there's a guy literally right in his face, has him dead to rights, and he just kind of sidesteps him a little bit, gets to the boundary, and then makes a play deep down the field to Rashad Bateman over the middle. Uh, you know, Little things like that, and that's why you also said like the Lamar tax. That's why the pass protection looks a little bit better than it does. But another thing that I'm looking at here, the offensive line of the Cleveland Browns is beat up, right? And that's something that the Ravens need to take big advantage of. Now, before we get into anything else, I do want to bring up this comment here. This one's coming from RJ. Says, just want to say appreciate you guys for giving us great content and being consistent because I can only imagine how hard it is. So thank you. Keep going. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
RJ.
Freaking thank you.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
exactly. Yeah. These are the type of comments that keep us going. So we
Exactly.
appreciate you. We appreciate you. All your support.
Thank you, man.
Let me see. Lisa says her key to Sunday's game is score early and often. No, I agree with me. I agree with that too. I actually have a very bold prediction. A very bold prediction. It's gonna seem asinine almost, but I think Lisa might agree with me. And I'll go ahead and I'll get it off, and then we'll get our score predictions. As a matter of fact, start dropping your score predictions in the chat right now, and we'll go ahead and we'll get that going next. But I'm thinking in this game, in the red zone, specifically within like the 10-yard line, because we're gonna get down there, right? I'm thinking that the Cleveland Browns do everything in their power to sell out and stop the run of Derrick Henry. I think Lamar Jackson gets close to the line of scrimmage on a Derrick Henry run, on what would be a Derrick Henry run, right? I think that he makes a check at the line of scrimmage. I think that he fakes it to Derrick Henry, and I think that he tosses it over the top to a wide open Patrick Ricard for a touchdown. I can just see it happening. I don't know why. I had a vision almost. I had a vision. And if this comes true, if it comes to fruition, I don't know. I might have to I don't know. The parlays might be hitting. And speaking of that, our ladder challenge from last week hit too. So the bold predictions, that's my bold prediction. It's far-fetched, but don't be surprised if it happens.
It's not, because I think they will sell out to stop Derrick Henry, and I think they will run the same play action play they ran against the Dolphins last year. And Lamar hit Pat Ricard wide open, nobody near him. I can see it. I can see it so much. The point I'm pulling up the odds right now for the Pat Ricard touchdown. That's how much I see the vision.
Plus 2,000, plus 2,700. Gotta be. Yeah, drop your score predictions in the chat, y'all. We want to go ahead and bring those up next. Surprise, I do have the Ravens winning this game. In terms of the score prediction, I do want to say this. I do want to point this out. Last week, I did predict the Bucks game to end 41-37. The Ravens scored 41 points. You know, the Bucks just scored a little less. So I was close. But and what's the odds? Did you bring them up yet?
Plus 2,100.
Yeah, I figured it's gonna be in that plus 2,000 range. I mean, hey, man, I'm just saying.
Odds for any anytime touchdown in this game. It's funny, Rashad Bateman's a plus 185 now. We fought a long fight. They were like 400 at a point. It was, it was up there. It was, Aguilar 360, Tylan Wallace 360, 185 now. This fight has been a long journey.
It has, and I think we're only going further. If I'm being honest with you, I think we're only going further. Let me see. I do want to bring this up. My guy Cleats 007, what's going on? Cleats says, "Yeah, I agree. Defense keeps improving, and we will have almost a cakewalk to the Super Bowl." I mean, that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like to me, man, to be honest with you. Because like I said, to lead this episode off with, it feels like right now our offense is playing defense. Lamar Jackson is playing defense, and Zach Orr should be thanking his lucky stars that Lamar Jackson is his quarterback, because, his defense's deficiencies would be highlighted way more if Lamar wasn't doing what Lamar was doing, and the entire offense. Don't want to just, give credit to Lamar Jackson. But okay, so score predictions. Alex, let's go ahead and get into that. I want to bring up these guys' score predictions in the chat. We got Gurgis says 24-21 Ravens. Love it. I mean, it's a divisional game, right? And I think some crazy stat like 62% of AFC North games end within like less than 4 points, like within 4 points, something like that. So it's totally possible. Kogan S says 34-17 Ravens win. Coherent Multimedia says Ravens minus 40. Whoo, that's insane. Lisa, you already know Lisa predicting the blowout, 45-10 Ravens purple. Coherent says 40-14 Ravens. Got it.
Okay.
Lisa doubling down with me. Pat will score a touchdown. I'm with you, Lisa. I'm with you on that
It
one.
might be the week.
Cleats. It might be Cleats 007 says 38-17 Ravens. I like that one. I like that one, but I do feel like it's going to be a little bit closer. I feel like it's going to be a little bit closer. And then Adoris Flame says 17-24 Ravens. We got Mod Roosh in the house. Says, what's up, Rain Gang? What's going on,
What's going
Roosh?
on, bro?
Appreciate you for pulling up, popping out, coming through on this wonderful Friday. He says 24-10 Ravens. So, Alex, I'm going to come to you next. What do you think the final score of this game will be?
I have us winning, even though I just can't sit here and not think about a trap game. But we don't really have a lot of them under Lamar. So I'm hoping that's a thing of the past. The Bozo L's out the way to the Raiders. I'm going to go. And the Ravens keep it up, score 30 points again. 31-13. My key number here is to hold them under 20 or 17 to 20 points. Hold them to that or lower, and that's another win for us. I want to see this defense really make a statement. I want to see them show that they can hold NFL offenses to under that 20 mark. And, the 17 just a little bit of added bonus. But holding them to maybe 2 touchdowns or even a touchdown, a field goal, that's really what I want to see. So I don't want to give up 3 touchdowns. I want you to show that you can stop this offense, stop any offense, but stop a divisional offense and let your offense chill on the sideline. Let Lamar sit out a couple of drives. But yeah, give me the Ravens 31-13.
Okay. See, I'm going to go Ravens 33, Browns 26 as my final score for this one. I think that it's going to be a little bit closer. I think that the Ravens do get 30. I think that we do get 30 and we do hit our average for points scored. But I think that they'll probably score a garbage time touchdown. I think they'll have around 20 points around the fourth quarter. They might score a garbage time touchdown, maybe try to go for 2 or something like that. Don't get, something like that down the stretch might happen. But I'm going to go 33-26 Ravens. I think that for the most part, the defense steps up. But later in the game, as we've seen, I think Jameis Winston kind of just lets his hair down and says, hey, you know what? I'm just going to let it rip. And that will kind of once again inflate the passing yards allowed number, because that's what's been happening a lot this season. If we want to contextualize it, like we're getting up on teams and then they're just saying, hey, we can't run the football on these guys. Let's just throw it, and see what happens. And you got guys who end up getting 200 yards in one quarter, right? And I think that's what happened on Monday night. So, but yeah, let me see. RJ Horry says
what Baker threw.
Insane. RJ says, I see 40-13 bucket. Okay. Thea Pennell says 17-13 Ravens. It's going to be a tough one. I like that.
North battle.
Yeah.
Now that
RJ says, can't wait to the next episode to come back to remember I said that. Yeah.
I hope so, RJ. That 17-13 is something I might predict for the Ravens-Steelers game. Because no matter how good we look or how bad they look, it's always going to be something that's disgusting. It'll be the stinkiest offensive game you're ever going to see. So I'm going to save that for definitely the Ravens-Steelers game. But I could see this one, AFC North, depending how the Browns come out. Myles Garrett, I think, he was shut down the other week. He always wants to play as hard. Zadarius Smith against his former team, who's been linked with us in trade rumors. So I hope we can kick our feet up. But even last week, I really going to kick my feet up because we go up and they score a touchdown to get an onside kick. We're going to talk about the special teams real quick. The Ravens, I know, were always a little mediocre offensively, but that defense and special teams, elite. This offense, elite. This defense, below average. The special teams, mediocre. Like, what happened to the team we love? I love the offense, but I want to see some more from the defense and special teams.
Right. Yeah. And like I'll frequently say on the show here, feels like we're kind of playing a game of whack-a-mole, right? Like we get one thing down pat and then something else, another problem pops up, and then we kind of, got to allocate resources to that. It's just stupid. So I'm hoping that the defense can turn it around. Zach or Dean Pease up in the box, maybe giving them some advice. It should be. I have faith that they can still turn it around because the personnel is there. Again, the personnel is there, but we just have to see the execution, man. We got to see the execution. But okay, let's go ahead and move on from the Ravens game, and I think it's actually time to go ahead and get into some picks for NFL
Okay.
Week 8. The last time we did a pick segment was Week 6. I just want to remind everybody we absolutely did cook the last time we did this. I had 100%, literally went 14 for 14 on games that week. It was insane. Alex hit about 80%, so we're looking to replicate that same success here tonight. I know we missed the Thursday night game. The LA Rams actually beat the Minnesota Vikings, so we won't do that one. We'll start with the rest of them though. So with that being said, Alex, are you ready for the music?
Hey, you know, gotta hit it. Hit that freaking music.
Let's get it.
All right, there it is. 1 o'clock CBS window. Green Bay Packers heading to Jacksonville to play them Jacksonville Jaguars. Give me the Packers and Jordan Love in this one. I think they get the dub.
Yeah, definitely going to go Packers in this one. Really, not too much thinking about that. Packers for sure.
Now, this next one I'm going to think about a little bit. We got the Cardinals and the Dolphins. The 3-4 Cardinals, the 2-4 Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa is returning, which I think is a very stupid decision. I think he should have retired. I won't get too much into that. But he is starting, and I do think that Dolphins do win this. I think Tyreek has a big game showing, Tua is back. Give me the Dolphins in this one in Miami.
Yeah, I'm going to go Dolphins too. I think it's going to be an emotional return for Tua. I don't know if you heard what Tyreek Hill said this week, like, hey, start me this week. We're back, like, pound the alarm, that sort of thing. I think that they rally around that, and I think that they win this game on the road. Yeah, give me Miami.
Yeah, next up, the Jets and the Patriots in New England. If I'm the Jets, I'm 2-5 against the 1-6 Patriots from Drake May. You have got to win this game. Give me the Jets. If you don't win this game, season, you're 2-6. It's over. It's over.
It's definitely a must-win for the Jets. Like, non-negotiable. You got to have this one. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Jets in this one too. I think Aaron Rodgers makes them just enough plays to get it done. But man, this guy is not. This is not the same Aaron Rodgers that we really know and love. But yeah, give me the Jets.
Moving on, the Eagles and the Bengals. Now, if we weren't playing at the 1 o'clock game, I definitely would probably be watching this game. This is a good one. In Cincinnati, Eagles coming off a great game last week against the Giants. Saquon absolutely just shredded his former team. Look at the Bengals here too. They had trouble stopping the run. They squeaked by last week, beating the Browns 21-14. Beat the Giants 17-7. I'm thinking the Eagles in this one in a very close one. Just the running, I think Saquon is going to be the difference maker in this game.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm going to go with the Eagles in this one. AJ Brown is good to go, right? He's not still dealing. Listen, man, I'm telling you, one of my favorite receivers in the league. I'm gonna keep saying it. I think he's the best. He's gonna keep proving it to you. I'm gonna go with the Eagles in this one, man.
I like it. Moving on, the Colts and the Texans. Give me the Texans this one. It could be closer because it's divisional, but if the Texans are this contender everyone talks about, I need to see it. CJ Stroud, I need to see more from you without Nico Collins, but give me the Texans in this one.
Yeah, I was gonna go Houston in this one too, but like you said, since it is a divisional game, I think that the line right now is at like +4 or something like that, and I would be comfortable taking that, holding the points with the Colts too. But for our money line purposes that we're doing here, I'm gonna go with the Houston Texans.
Titans, Lions, give me the Lions.
Easy money, yeah, Detroit.
Next up, though, the Falcons and the Buccaneers, a rematch of the Thursday night game we had just a couple of weeks ago. But these Bucs, man, Todd Bowles, come here. Let's talk real quick. What you did on Monday night, it's close to a fireable offense. You have no reason to have those guys out there. Chris Godwin, ankle, out, presumably out for the year, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Mike Evans out to week 11. Like, you're missing your top two guys. Like, I don't want to think about that's the Ravens and what we're saying to Harbaugh if he left our guys out there and somebody of that caliber goes down. I mean, and they couldn't even do an onside kick again. Knowing the rules right there, that's where it separates the great coaches from the good coaches. So I got the Falcons this one. The Buccaneers, I don't who he's throwing to, Sterling Shepard. I like Kate Otten, but it's going to be tough for them to move the ball. Kirk, last time he played them, put up 500 yards. Give me the Falcons.
Yeah, I've got Atlanta in this one too. I just think it's going to be a little bit too much for Baker to overcome. Not having those 2-star receivers right there, and then having to get it done with whatever's left. I'm gonna go Atlanta in this one.
We're on the 4 o'clock window. Kind of, I think this might be this. I don't know. There's some pretty stinky games in the 4 o'clock window. The Saints and the Chargers at SoFi Stadium. Spencer Rattler against a Greg Roman offense, who now I'm starting to see people kind of blame him. But when he was here, it was never his fault from the media. Makes you think. But I do have the Chargers winning
right?
this one. Yeah, real fun. But the Saints are unbelievably banged up. And if I'm the Chargers, you got to win this to have any chance of making at least a wild card in the AFC.
Yeah, in this one, I'm definitely going to go with the LA Chargers, mainly because the Saints can't stop the run. And I think that, in a Greg Roman offense, they'll run all over him. So give me LA.
Nice. Next up, though, this is a good game. Bills and the Seahawks. No DeKalin Zacharias, which hurts my soul. But it is in the Lumen Field. Looking forward to see Mike McDonald play those Bills, see how that defense fares. Bills with Amari Cooper, though, my problem with them is they start off very slow, and they started off slow against the Titans last week. I need to see something from you, Gino. So I will pick the Seahawks. It's like my upset of the week. I got to pick one of them. Give me the Seahawks over the Bills in Seattle. Yeah, there's going to be one, so I think this is the one.
It's crazy because I picked the Seahawks too in this one. I really did.
Really?
This was also my upset of the week. Yeah, I was looking at it and I was just like, I feel like Mike McDonald's defense can kind of get to Josh Allen, get him in like a late game scenario, and get him to make a mistake or something of the like. Maybe he throws that first interception, and the Seahawks upset him. I really do think that can happen. So yeah, I'm sticking with that. I'm gonna go Seattle.
Hey, I love it. I'm no complaining over here. This one though, I'm upset. Bears Commanders.
Yeah.
No Jaden Daniels. And for that reason, I'm picking the Bears. If Jaden Daniels was healthy, I would have picked the Commanders. But Mariota looked good. He's not playing the Panthers defense.
Right.
Give me the Bears.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bears in this one as well. That defense, I think, will be a little bit too much for Mariota, like a starting Marcus Mariota, not just get in there, low stakes, do whatever, you know what I mean? But damn, it's a bummer because they even flexed this game to 4 o'clock. You got Jim Nantz and Tony Romo doing it for next to nothing now. I mean, Caleb Williams in there, it's cool. It's the first overall pick, but Jaden Daniels has been the real story when it comes to rookie quarterbacks so far this year. So it is a bummer, but I'm going to go with the Bears too.
Next up, the Chiefs and the Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Give me the Chiefs in this one. 7-0. D-Hop's playing. Not going to think twice about this.
Yeah. Give me the Chiefs. Chiefs taking a big swing, going out and getting D-Hop. I think that we need to match the Chiefs' energy and go out and take a big swing as well, and maybe get like an edge rusher. I know we're looking at Zadarius Smith, like you said, something of the like to kind of shore us up and make sure that we're ready to go come playoff time. But yeah, in that one, I'm taking KC.
It's funny you bring up an edge rusher because there's this guy in Las Vegas who wants to win.
Hey man,
Wants to win.
And he would be the epitome of a Raven. Let me just tell you that. Like him, can you just imagine Max Crosby alongside Roquan Smith and Kyle Hamilton and Marlon Humphrey? Like, just that would be a star-studded defense, quite literally. And I think that would literally make us Super Bowl favorites, not contenders, but favorites, quite literally. But yeah, a man can only dream, right? But yeah, who do we got next?
Panthers, Broncos. Give me the Broncos. Bryce Young, I'm sorry that you have to go and play against this Broncos defense with the I-Word report that is reminiscent of what we had in 2021. If you haven't checked out the I-Word report, go and check it out. 10-page essay, not double-spaced, MLA format, 12 font. It is insane how long it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Denver in this one too, man. I mean, Carolina is just, they're Carolina. I'm gonna go Denver.
Now Sunday night, this game right here, this is like the ultimate like Unk Bowl. Cowboys 49ers.
It's really a winner go home game almost.
Yeah, I mean the Niners are 3-4. Ayuk's out for the year. Jawan Jennings is questionable. Debo is questionable. I think Debo will play. Brock Purdy was making awful throws last week. And then you have the Cowboys who are coming off of a bye, but they just lost 47-9. It is in San Fran. I'm going to pick the Niners for that reason only. The Cowboys with your running game, which you didn't go and get Derrick Henry, which is hilarious. And then Jerry Jones is like, oh, he wouldn't have these numbers in our offense. That's not the flex you think it is. Your offense is absolute ass. That you just admitted it.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd say that in the first place. Just whatever. Give me the Niners.
Yeah, man, I had the Niners in this one too. I think that there's just way too much distraction going on right now in Dallas, and that's how it's always been, really, under Jerry Jones, to be honest with you, as long as I've been alive, at least. But yeah, I think that this is the one that really kind of unravels the Cowboys, and like you said, it really made no sense when Jerry Jones said that Derrick Henry wouldn't have fit in their offense. It's like, so you're telling me that your coaches that you pay the big bucks to, right? They could not have figured out a way to incorporate one of the best running backs of this generation into their offense. They just couldn't do it. It wouldn't have been a thing. It just wouldn't have been possible, right? Like, it's just that's so egregious to hear from a Jerry Jones. And he's just been kind of spiraling lately, just kind of saying anything to kind of defend himself, because I think people are trying to get him to admit his faults, and he really just does not want to do that at all. He just kind of wants to, when things are going good, he wants to be in the limelight, center of attention. Like, yes, give me the adoration, the praise. This is my team. But when things are going bad, he doesn't want to sit on that podium and kind of answer the question and be held accountable for the things that are going bad. So can't have it both ways, Jerry. Just can't. But yeah, let me go San Fran in this one.
Final game of the week, my friends. The Steelers against the Giants at Acrisure Stadium. I'm going to pick the Steelers in another win. They're going to be 6-2. And they're going to be winning games. Should be winning. Russ turned it around in the second half last week when I thought he looked bad the first half. I fell asleep. I woke up and like, wow, they put up 35 points. I wasn't expecting that. But give me the Steelers in this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Pittsburgh in this one too. It's crazy because we've literally picked all the same ones in this week, and I'm not mad about it. But I. Hopefully we get a good score. This week. I think we will. I think we have some pretty good picks. But Pittsburgh over New York for sure. Interesting stuff. The season's really heating up. It's in full swing right now. We have got the Browns this week. If you're just getting in here and you're watching live, make sure you go ahead and rewind. We talked a lot about the Browns, preview everything that the Ravens need to do to go ahead and win that one. Our keys to victory, our score predictions. We did our unit measurements. We did all that. Stats breakdowns, all that. Right. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here for the night on this episode, on this Friday night, in this 273rd episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Again, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and like the video, please. We appreciate that. We really would. Also follow us on Instagram if you want any updates on the Purple Rain podcast. They will be posted there at the Purple Rain podcast. You can follow me on X or Instagram at Sutton Def, like you see below. You can follow this guy over here on X at SimplyAS10 and on Instagram at SimplyAS10.prod. And like we led the episode with Manscaped, who's got all sorts of lovely, jubbly products that you can get for yourself. You can get for your uncle, your brother, your friend, your boyfriend, your husband, anybody in your life who would like some grooming, personal care products. Make sure you go on their website, use our code PRP, get yourself 20% off, plus the free international shipping. Again, thank you guys for coming out on a Friday night. We normally don't do this, but we did today, and you guys showed up and showed out. So we appreciate all of the Rain Gang for showing up. We love you guys from the bottom of our hearts. And with that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out.
Thank you for coming through episode 273 of the Purple Rain podcast. And as always, thank you, Oscar, for coming through and enjoying your scotch. As always, stay positive, test negative.
Yes. And never, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. So in episode 273 of the Purple Rain podcast, we're going to catch you guys